Now, some people might say that this particular legend, this star, was in fact one of the unluckiest people in Hollywood. And when you hear her story, you might sort of agree. As ever though, let me explain. Hollywood, as we know, is a place where apparently they'll sell your soul for the dream of fame. So many people came in those roaring 20s and 30s to become international icons. The silent movie stars that really created frames with their faces. They didn't need words because apparently, according to, of course, Norma Desmond, Gloria Swanson, their eyes said everything that they needed to say. Of course, when you think about it, it's not always about just eyes and teeth, and beauty too. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's boss, Louis B. Mayer, often said that he didn't care whether the person could act or not. Really, what he wanted was a face. He said, give me a face, and we at the studio can do the rest. With, of course, dialect cultures, fencing, dancing, deportment, and creating a whole backstory that doesn't necessarily have to be true. That was the Dream Factory. Now, one particular lady that sort of fell in and out of love with Hollywood was none other than the very talented and often mimicked Carol Channing. Now, I first heard of Carol Channing all thanks to the brilliant comedian Stanley Baxter and his very great fun specials that were on when I was a kid growing up. He would imitate everybody to great perfection. And then, of course, I saw her at a Royal Variety performance doing an incredible act. She was a force of nature. But you see, a lot of people don't realise that Carol Channing, and I've sort of interviewed and met many people who worked with her, was not only a wonderful, gracious lady, but also really one of the unluckiest people in Hollywood. You see, way back, she created the role of Lorelei Lee in, of course, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. And it was naturally assumed, given the success and, of course, the awards that she picked up, that she would recreate the role at the brand new film version for 20th Century Fox. The boss, Daryl F. Zanuck, had other ideas and realised that not only was Marilyn Monroe cheaper, but now seemingly more popular and indeed blonde. Things, though, didn't go their own way for Marilyn Monroe on the set of Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. She had a battle just to get her own dressing room, and when they finally gave in and wheeled on a dressing room onto the set, she said, well, finally, I've got something. Let's not forget, this movie's called Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and after all, I am the blonde. This, of course, was very, very upsetting, though, for the original creator and star, Carol Channing, because it had gone round that naturally they would offer her the film role. Now, she really did get some success in movies with the first international travelling sales lady, alongside Ginger Rogers, to good success. But then another smack in the teeth came in the early 60s because she created on Broadway and in London the brilliant role of Dolly Levi in Hello, Dolly. Now, Hello, Dolly, as we all know, was a marvellous production, and you can imagine that you have to get to a certain age in order to take on that particular role. Carol once again thought that finally this time, after picking up some awards for creating that said role, well, she might get picked. No. What the bosses decided to do, and this was fascinating because I was lucky enough to interview one of the stars alongside Barbara Streisand, no less, but Michael Crawford, who appeared in Hello, Dolly, one of his very first big Hollywood breaks. And he told me that while everybody loved Barbara Streisand, and she was, of course, the key of the moment, obviously a lot of people felt that she was too young to take on the role. She did give a sterling job, even though she didn't get on with the co-star, Walter Matthau. And according to Michael, let's just say that people kept their distance. Obviously, Barbara wanted to direct, write, produce, arrange, sing, do everything, even at that very young age, as we've now come to know. But what about Carol? Well, once again, she was overlooked, but the studio decided, get this, that would she like to come along and make a cameo, a little bit like the other cameo star, Louis Armstrong. A lot of people felt that this was a complete smack in the teeth, and Carol naturally declined. She went back to stage and Broadway, one-woman shows to great success, and lived to a very good age of 97 years old, putting this down to the fact that she never ate in restaurants and simply took her own food, didn't really like sugary desserts and had seeds in its place. She only started eating restaurant food in the last 15 years of her life, and said, making sure that you know exactly what you're eating and who's cooked it, washed it, and served it is the key to living a longer life. Either way, Carol Channing's star does remain, quite literally, on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and she left an indelible mark on the world of Broadway and the West End stage. What a shame, though, that she was seen as Hollywood's Unluckiest Blonde. New shown in the very heart of London.